Hi kids, Seena Drapala here with Starry Eyes and Little Twinkle to welcome you and tell you about chocolate-covered cherries. The Society of Women Engineers loves coming to your fall festival every year. Maybe your older students might remember our strawberry DNA activity or the measuring electricity through vegetables. And last year, Marlis, our aerospace engineer, really loved telling you about the balancing sticks and how that applies to airplanes. Well, what I remember is that you loved our candy that we brought. And so I'm going to share with you a story of chocolate-covered cherries and talk about how they're made, and then manufacturing and all the engineers that are involved in chocolate manufacturing. When I was a little bit older than you, I was taking chemistry and I had to do a project. And I had no idea what project I should do. So I asked my teacher, have you ever had to do a project? Teachers and parents are great resources for project ideas. And my teacher suggested that I find out how they get the liquid into the chocolate-covered cherries. Have you ever tasted a chocolate-covered cherry? I cut one open so you could see what's inside. See the liquid? See the cherry? See the chocolate? How does that liquid get inside? I thought maybe they injected it, or I just didn't know how it would happen. But it's a chemical reaction. And I looked up the recipes. There's lots of recipes online. And you take a cherry, and you coat it in a very special sugar mixture, like that. It's got an enzyme in the mixture. And now let me get my hot chocolate, and you dip it into the hot chocolate and coat it. Ooh, gooey, gooey. And then the hard part. You have to let it sit for a week before that solid will change to a liquid. And the magic is the enzyme. It's a special chemical reaction. And I asked my chemist friend, Danielle, all about it. And she gave me lots of information about how that enzyme breaks down the molecular structure and changes it from solid to liquid. Now you might think of an ice cube. That changes state also, but it's more of a melting process, not a chemical process. And that's pretty great if you want to just make 1 or 2 chocolate-covered cherries. But what if you want to make a pound of chocolate-covered cherries like you can get at the chocolate nugget? Mine are almost gone. Or if you want to make 100 pounds, or how about 10,000 per minute? I have another friend, Jean Hopper. She's a retired manufacturing engineer, and she worked in the candy industry. And she wrote a story that's available on the web that talks about all the different kinds of engineers that go into candy making. And I wanted to share that with you today. First, if you're going to make 10,000 per minute, you're going to need a building. And I have another friend who makes buildings. She's a civil engineer. So Kalina might make a chocolate factory. So she would design the building and they would make it all getting ready for chocolate making. And did you know Halloween's coming up? But did you know Christmas sells more chocolate than Halloween? And Easter more chocolate than Christmas. So you need a factory. You also need some engineers, some computer engineers and electrical engineers. They would make smart systems to count those 10,000 per minute pieces of chocolate. And they use sensors and special equipment to do that. But then packaging engineers, how do you want your chocolate delivered? You want it in a package like Kimmy Chocolate Rocks? Or do you want it in a box like Valentine cards might come? You want it wrapped like a kiss? Or twist tied like a Jolly Rancher? I know those are kind of popular at the fall festival. And look at this piece of candy. It's wrapped like a coin. How do they do that? Well, mechanical engineers work on equipment that make that chocolate and wrap that chocolate. So the mechanical engineers might do those kinds of things. And you need environmental engineers to keep your air and your water very clean. You don't want your candy to spoil, and you want it to taste great by the time it gets to the store and in your mouth. There's also industrial engineers, and they work on continuously improving the process, making it faster and cheaper and more quantity for the production. So you see, there's lots of different engineers, and we have quality engineers that work on quality. And if you're interested in learning about more engineers, SWE Next has a newsletter that you can sign up for. Make sure you sign up and use the event code Sierra Nevada SWE so that they know you learned about it from us. And if you want to learn more about chocolate making and engineering, Engineer Girl is another great place to look. So I can't wait for next year. Hopefully we can meet in person and we can share another fun activity. And I'll be sure to bring chocolate with us next year. Have a great fall festival, guys. Hope to hear some questions. Have a great day.